Hey, everybody. It's Mark Carlin, the results hypnotist, right here from New York. It's a frigid day in New York. If you've been out in New York and you're a smoker, you had to stand out in this weather for any amount of time, you froze your nads off. It was cold out there today. And you're probably rethinking this whole idea of what the hell am I doing? Why am I smoking cigarettes, right? I'm sure you are. Nicotine is supposedly this really addictive substance. And this little live, which is going to be rather short, is really designed to help stimulate you, motivate you to take the leap and stop smoking. Do whatever you need to do to stop smoking. It will be the best decision you ever made. Once again, my name is Mark Carlin. I'm the results hypnotist. I do help people stop smoking. So if you're on the fence, if you're starting to get this motivation happening, and you're starting to realize that it's time for you to quit, and there is opportunity for you to quit, and you decide that you need some professional help, you can give me a call at 212-223-1832, and we can have a little strategy session, discuss how I can help you or how you can help yourself to become that non-smoker. You are not designed to smoke. You never were. You put in a hell of a lot of time and a hell of a lot of effort into learning how to smoke. It wasn't an easy thing. You don't just pick up a cigarette and you begin smoking without your body rejecting it. It's not the same response that you had the very first time you tasted some sugar or something sweet. Those things you didn't have to become used to. You didn't have to learn to like them. You just kind of like them right away. Smoking, not so much. Smoking is something that you had to learn to do. You had to put effort into it. So it does make sense when you look at it that way, that stopping smoking now, after all this time of smoking and you developing this habitual behavior around smoking, it makes sense that it will take a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, a little bit of your responsibility to do what's necessary in order for you to stop smoking. And it's not as big of a deal as you think it is, especially if you work with a hypnotist like me who knows how to help you stop smoking. And most people who come to me, they leave the office being a non-smoker. It's really very simple. It's a very quick process. It's almost mindless in its approach. Now, I don't want you to think it's magical, because I don't want you to think that you have no responsibility to helping yourself quit. When you work with me, we work together as a partner. Partners. We are there. I'm there supporting your efforts. I'm giving you the tools that make it easier for you in the way that you think. When you start thinking the right way, those thoughts are going to support this new behavior of being a non-smoker. You're going to start thinking more like a non-smoker when you leave my office. So it becomes easier for you. It becomes something that you're not looking at as if you lost something as far as smoking, or you lost something as far as behavior that you no longer want in your life. Because it's not something you miss anymore. It's something that you're happy to be done with. It's really very simple. So, are you smoking because you're addicted to cigarettes? That particular thought is actually, if you think that enough, that becomes a belief. Now, if you believe that you're addicted to smoking, which is just a thought repeated over and over and over again until it becomes so real to you that you think it's true, but it really isn't true. You probably have gone through times in your life when you didn't smoke as regularly as usual. Let's say you usually smoke a pack a day, and on average you might smoke, let's say, between 8 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning till about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's say you would smoke about 3/4 of a pack of cigarettes, and then the rest of the evening you would smoke the rest of the pack of cigarettes. Okay? Let's just say, for argument's sake, that's how you smoke. That would be your pattern, your regular pattern. And a lot of people, they go places where they're not able to smoke. Some people don't smoke in front of their parents. Some people don't smoke in front of their children. Some people don't smoke when they have company. Some people don't smoke when they go to the movies, or there's certain particular instances when they don't allow themselves to smoke when they normally would smoke. Now, if you're able to keep yourself from smoking during those particular times, and sometimes these things take a whole day, sometimes more than a whole day, sometimes it's a whole week. It might be you go on vacation with someone that you can't smoke in front of, and you end up not smoking, or maybe you find the time to smoke maybe one cigarette a day, or one cigarette every other day, or something, some really ridiculously small amount of cigarettes. Meanwhile, you used to smoke a pack a day. What does that tell you? That tells you it's not an addiction. Because if you were addicted, you just wouldn't care. You would just go ahead and do what you needed to do. That's what a real addiction is. Smoking cigarettes is just a way that you've learned, most likely you've learned to deal with some kind of an emotional issue that comes up, some kind of an emotion response. You could be bored, you could be stressed, you could be angry, you could be sad. There's a whole list of emotional feelings that you can have, and they might have been so uncomfortable that you didn't want to feel that way, and you use the cigarette to distract you for a few moments from that emotion, that feeling. And the feeling does go away during the time that you smoke cigarettes, because you've trained yourself to allow your thoughts to become more calming when you smoke the cigarette. You allowed your body to start feeling calm whenever you go through this ritual of smoking cigarettes. And I go like this because my hand is moving up to my mouth. It's like this is the ritual. The hand movement is the ritual. So it's the ritual that causes an emotion within you that satisfies a need that you have on an emotional level. It's not this big drug addiction or this withdrawal effect or anything like that. It's all emotion based. And the emotions are also in sync with what you're thinking. Okay? So if you're thinking, oh, I'm missing a cigarette, you're going to feel sad, because sadness happens when you lose something. So if you're sad, that's another emotion that doesn't feel so good, right? How do you deal with, if you've learned to smoke to deal with those bad feelings, what is going to happen when you feel sad that you're missing cigarettes? You're going to want to smoke even more. So if you change your thoughts and you go to that idea of not missing cigarettes, you start thinking about all the things that you're gaining as a result of no longer smoking cigarettes, as a result of you becoming more of who you actually were born to be, because you were born to be a non-smoker. You stop missing cigarettes. You stop feeling sad. You're lifting off some of that emotional stress, that emotional baggage that's been causing you to reach for a cigarette in the first place, which makes it easier then to decide, I really don't need to smoke right now. And every time you put off having a cigarette, you're one step closer to training yourself to never smoke again. Now, it's a much quicker and simpler process using hypnosis. We're able to install these thoughts, have you practice them, have you practice doing these new behaviors an infinite number of times while you're in this mental training attitude. It becomes a very easy thing to do. And right now you probably haven't experienced a lot of hypnotic work. So it's hard to wrap your head around that. I noticed that. People come into my office and they come in there with this idea that they don't know how this is going to work. They just go, hey, yeah, I've heard a lot of people have told me about this guy, and I get a lot of people who come in from referrals, and this guy I know who smoked more cigarettes than me, and he was even worse than I was. He went in and in an hour and a half, boom, he was done with cigarettes, and it's amazing. I don't know how it works. So they come in here and they have this idea that here's this guy going to talk to me for about an hour and a half, and at the end of the hour and a half, magically I'm going to be a non-smoker. And that's kind of like how it is in a lot of cases. People magically, it seems like it's magical that they change this way, but all it is that people are starting to change the way that they look at things, the way that they observe things, the way that they feel about things, the way that they think about things. It's kind of like the change when you start to see a half-empty glass of water, and you look at the half-empty glass of water, but what you see is the half-full glass of water. Because it's a half a glass of water, it could be half empty or half full. If you look at it as half empty, you might start thinking about the scarcity of the water. If you look at it as half full, you start thinking, well, I got a half a glass left. I still have a half a glass, no problem. I still have water. It's all in the way you look at it, and the way that you look at it will also affect how you feel about it. Got that? Thoughts, feelings, they go together. One will influence the other. Sometimes, most of the time, it's a thought that influences the feeling, but sometimes the feeling actually will start to influence the thought. Sometimes we don't know why we're feeling a certain way, but our senses pick up a reason that we should feel a certain way. And the feeling is really meant to protect us. It's meant to motivate us to take some action that will protect us from some threat somewhere. And that's how it works. It's really very simple when it's laid out like that. And there is a very simple process that I work with people to help them to stop smoking. And you can take advantage of that. I'm Mark Carlin, the Results Hypnotist. You can reach me at area code 212-223-1832. I work in my office in Manhattan. I also work online globally. You can take advantage of it no matter where you are. We can set up an appointment. Give me a call. It's time to stop smoking, and you deserve it. You deserve to be able to breathe fresh air. You deserve to be able to stay warm and comfortable where you are, rather than having to run outside on a day like today to smoke a cigarette. Don't you agree? Thanks for being here. Share this. Make note of it. Oh, and if you want to, I did put up a way of relieving stress yesterday. It's still up. I'm taking it down soon. Go back and check it out on my Facebook page, Stop Smoking Tip, or it's not up on the YouTube channel yet, but it will be soon. So look at that. Check that out. It's a way of relieving stress. A lot of people smoking because of the excess stress that they have. This is a very simple way to relieve stress, and you can do it easily within a minute or two, anytime you want. It takes you longer to smoke a cigarette than it is to relieve stress. And if you're smoking a cigarette to relieve stress, this is a no-brainer. This is a much quicker way of getting the stress relief that you want. And you don't have to smoke a cigarette, and it doesn't cost you anything. Okay? Thanks for being here. Share this. Comment, like, ring the bell so you get notified of any other the next live video that I do, and have a great evening. Hey, stay warm. It's cold out there.